Kenya and the United Kingdom, two nations linked by history, yet worlds apart in their approach to criminal justice. Despite Kenya gaining independence in 1963, the legal system remains heavily influenced by its colonial past, often overly punitive and out of step with modern justice reforms. One of the starkest differences lies in sentencing guidelines. In the UK, judges have the discretion to tailor sentences based on the specifics of a case, including the offender's circumstances and the severity of the crime. This flexibility allows for justice that fits both the crime and the individual that committed the crime. In Kenya, however, minimum sentences are rigidly prescribed by law, leaving judges with little to no room for discretion, even when circumstances might warrant leniency. Well, we see the leniency only when it comes to politicians, but anyway. Take, for example, cases of rape and defilement. In Kenya, a rape convict faces a minimum sentence of 15 years, and for defilement, the penalties are even harsher, 20 years to life imprisonment, depending on the victim's age. Judges are bound by these minimums, regardless of mitigating factors. In the UK, sentences for rape typically range from 4 to 19 years, and while defilement, termed child sexual abuse, is severely punished, judges have the flexibility to consider factors such as rehabilitation potential and specific case details. Let's look at theft. For theft, Kenya's penal code imposes harsh penalties, including up to 14 years imprisonment for stealing items of significant value, with no leeway for judges to consider the offender's intent or circumstances. In contrast, UK judges often apply community service, probation, or shorter custodial sentences, particularly for non-violent first-time offenders, emphasizing restitution and rehabilitation. Well, we don't have that system in Kenya. Again, in murder cases, both nations impose life imprisonment. However, in Kenya, life imprisonment after Kome often means spending the rest of one's life behind bars, with judges unable to adjust the sentence. In the UK, life sentences typically come with a minimum term set by the judge, allowing for parole, considering and reflecting a more nuanced approach, case by case. Obtaining by false pretenses, a crime of deception, scamming, is punishable in Kenya by up to 3 years imprisonment with no discretion for judges to impose alternative penalties. In the UK, such offences often result in fines, probation, or suspended sentences, especially for minor cases, with judges considering factors like restitution and the offender's intent. Why did they steal? When it comes to drugs, narcotics, Kenya's rigid laws impose severe penalties, with even small-scale possession, one joint, one roll of bangi, leading to a lengthy prison term. Judges have no choice but to enforce these sentences. In the UK, penalties for drug possession are less severe, with judges encouraged to focus on treatment, education over incarceration. Teach the offender it's wrong, rather than punish them the first time around. Arson in Kenya can result in life imprisonment, even for non-fatal cases, with judges unable to consider lesser penalties. In the UK, sentencing varies based on severity and intent, allowing judges to incorporate restorative justice measures when and where appropriate. Again, case by case. This one's shocking. In Kenya, attempted suicide is still criminalized, bar the judgment that was delivered a couple of days ago, punishable by up to 2 years in prison, with no room for judicial discretion. In the UK, attempted suicide was decriminalized in 1961, before Kenya got independence, and it is treated as a mental health issue rather than a crime. It's my life. If I decide to kill it, why should I be anyway? In manslaughter cases, Kenya's rigid laws often lead to lengthy sentences, leaving no room for judges to consider intent or mitigating factors. In the UK, sentencing guidelines distinguish between voluntary manslaughter and involuntary manslaughter, allowing judges to tailor penalties to reflect on intent and circumstances. Yeah, you're surprised, I'm sure. Anyway, Kenya, a former British colony, continues to uphold laws and sentencing practices rooted in the colonial past, while the UK has embraced reforms that grant judges discretion to balance punishment and rehabilitation. Kenya's rigid minimum sentences reflect an outdated system that prioritizes punishment over justice. Isn't it time for Kenya to break away free from its colonial shackles and embrace a justice system fit for the 21st century? We need action. I must say that. That's why prisons in Kenya are full. That's why you have two people, three people sharing a single mattress. Anyway, what do you think about these differences? Should Kenya reform its justice system to allow for judicial discretion and modernization? As usual, please like, share, subscribe, and please tell me your thoughts. I'd like to change the system, but I need help as well. I mean, anyone can find themselves on the wrong side of the law. It could be you who's watching this. I'm not wishing for that, but it can happen. So we need to be proactive, change the system. Gen Z, but okay, I'm a lot older than they are. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have an awesome day.